You're listening to The Parallel Paths, a podcast designed to elevate your mind, body, and spirit so that you can get everything you want out of life. The only question is, are you ready? Welcome back to another episode of the Parallel Paths podcast. I'm your co-host, Makita Moore.
What's good? I'm your co-host, Blair McClendon.
And we are back with another episode. This week, we're talking about childhood, our childhood memories. And yeah. Because right now, Blair, we're both nearing that 30 mark, that awesome 30 year of the millionaire millennials mark.
Hey, that's real.
And as we approach that, we reflect a lot on our childhood. As you see, our cover is us as our little four-year-old selves. And, I think both of us can speak to how our childhood has shaped who we are, has made us who we are today, and how we are now using our childhood selves as a source of power and motivation. So, yes, Blair, what you want to tell the people about childhood? so tell us about your childhood, Mr. Only Child.
Yeah, so I definitely grew up an only child, but I wasn't the typical only child. Like I wasn't the stereotypical spoiled, rotten one. Like I might have been spoiled in certain ways, but I had to work for everything. My dad didn't play that, so.
Your dad was in the military, right?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Just old school. Just old school. Hard worker. So he had me out there cutting grass. I couldn't even see over the lawnmower. Like, I'd be shelling peas with my grandparents. So, like, I lived that type of childhood. Like, it was a manual labor type of upbringing, plus playing a lot of sports. I spent a lot of time outside. I think I got my first TV in my room when I think for my birthday when I was like 4. My grandma got me a small little box TV. And then I know not too long after that, I got a Sega Genesis. And so I'd be in the room playing video games for a little minute. And then I can't imagine them letting me play more than a couple hours, especially when I was little. And then they'd be like, all right, you got to go outside. So I'd be outside riding a bike, playing kickball with the neighbors, hooping in the driveway, whatever. And I started playing organized sports when I was 4. So I've been just active.
I think like hearing your childhood, it makes it no surprise that our paths, have run in this direction, that we've crossed paths again. Because like there's so many like parallels and just like, growing up in a family where we talk about manual labor. Man, my mom used to have us, my mom and dad. So I was the youngest of 3 girls. So my other sisters, they're 5 and a year and 8 months older than me. So the oldest one is 5 years older and the middle one is a year and 8 months. So we're always like together. And for cleaning, we used to have to like go and clean the baseboards of this 2-story 5-bedroom house with toothbrushes. It was like whenever there's a special occasion or something, like, and like we also with my grandma, like I was blessed to like always live with a grandparent.
Yeah.
My grandma, she see any little bit of dust and it's like, yeah, we had to like go through and clean the blinds, like each blind, individual blind, clean all the dust off, and go clean the plants around the house with milk and water. Like, oh my gosh. And yeah, so my parents always gave us everything that we wanted and desired. So like I always thought we were like rich, but I mean we were like middle class. But because my needs were always met, and they were reasonable needs. Like my parents would say no to us about stuff, but any idea, anything that we wanted to pursue, they would immediately support us, put us in camps and all this stuff. But yeah, we spent a lot of time outside too. Like we was outside barefoot in the woods, building forts, catching crawfish, like playing games, like all that.
Man, the 90s was lit growing up. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, it was so much, it was just such a simpler time. Like, no technology really distracting you from nothing. And like you said, you'd be out in the woods. And like, I grew up in Florida. So, I mean, from going to the beach, being out on the water, to going to the country where my grandparents were. And like I said, we'd be shelling peas, we'd be picking up pecans, cracking them. And we do stuff like we take our bikes down in the country, and so we'd be riding our bike, and we'd have slingshots. I remember me and my cousin Devon shot out some windows on like a old, like a super old car, probably like a 40.
Everybody does some bad shit when they're like little kids. And
Yeah.
you look back on that like, fuck, that was terrible. What was one of those bad things that you? What was one of those bad things that you did that you're like, that was bad, or we could have really gotten in trouble?
Too many to count. Too many to count. Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, we got away with a lot. So I mean, like, that's why I'm glad like there was no social media and stuff like that. Like, we were just mischievous. Like, we would just do wild shit. Like, I remember in high school, we had this infatuation with fireworks, firecrackers and stuff. So we would go to Alabama and get like these little like M90's, I think they were called, or M100s, like little bombs, literally. So like me and my homie, we would take them and we'd be just riding around the neighborhood, and he'd be like, all right, let's go mess with my grandma. I'd be like, all right, bet. So we go over there and we throw an M100 in her mailbox and then take off. Like, yeah, like we do stuff like that. So, or like I said, we had the slingshot. We shot out the windows on that car. My grandfather was furious with us. Like, that was one of the times where he definitely almost beat us. But like, I think he was just too old to really care. But like, he was pissed.
Yeah.
We shot out the windows. But
it was of his car.
Nah, and that was the thing. It wasn't even his car. Like,
what do you mean it wasn't his car? He still didn't want to get in trouble.
So nah, like, he lives in the country for one. They don't even have a traffic light where I'm talking about. Like, it's in the middle of nowhere country. And the car, like, it was a bunch of old cars like behind their house, and like it was one on the side or a couple on the side that belonged to some people who had died. So like it's vacant property, but I mean, we ain't never seen that car move, and it was like, ain't nobody finna pick up this car, and like it had stuff growing inside of it. Like, if you open the door,
it looked like trash.
Yeah, like a snake or something bound to come out. So me and my cousin, we were like, well, we need target practice for something. Like, let's practice on this car. So.
Yeah, I remember one time, we always like, I was always the best kid because there was like probably like 5 or 6 of the neighborhood kids. We used to always get together. It was like me, my sister, and Naya, because Mecca was like, she was too old to hang out with us, and then like a girl on this side, a boy on this side, and like these 2 sisters down the street. We were always together, always getting into shit. Everybody's always fighting because there's like so many different dynamics. I'm like the little mediator in the middle of everybody.
Yeah.
But I remember one time, like, we wanted a pet. Oh my God, so sad. We wanted like a pet bird, and we always wanted like baby birds as pets. So this little girl, she convinced me to go with her to knock these little baby birds out of a tree so that we could take care of them as our pets, not realizing that they wouldn't be able to survive. It was like,
yo,
or that their mom would ever take them back. Like, we had no idea.
Look, again, another parallel moment. I didn't get in trouble for it because I didn't do it, but same situation. I was with my older cousins, and they had come down into the country, and we used to always have like different basketballs, kickballs, all this type of stuff, and just be outside playing. And so they see this bird's nest, and so instead of them saying, "Oh, we want to like have it as a pet," they were just being devilish and was like, "Let's knock the nest out the tree." They knocked the nest out the tree. The mom comes in flying like full speed, like trying to attack them. And I'm like, bruh, that's crazy. So yeah, man, that jump was wild. So like, I've seen a lot of little stuff like that. I've seen people, especially down in the country, like they'll take like lizards and then just drop them in the AC units. I'm like, wow. Like, yeah, just crazy.
I know what we used to do. We used to take grasshoppers, like the big green grasshoppers, And if you
Georgia
hold their
Thumpers.
jumping legs and you stick them together, like fight each other, they'll be like just going at it. We used to do
I
that.
ain't even gonna lie. I was terrified of grasshoppers back in the day. And what happened to them? Why we don't see them no more?
You know, one thing we also don't see is
Crazy.
fireflies. We don't see fireflies anymore.
The only time I've ever seen fireflies was in Chicago when I used to go
I used to
visit
see
my
them in
family up
Georgia,
there.
and
I
even
used to be
I
like, what
saw
is
them here in
that?
Florida.
In my part of Florida, I've never really seen them like that. Maybe a couple times when I was little, but like predominantly Chicago. Like summertime Chicago, I used to see them all the time.
Well, maybe I don't know. I feel like when my first year here in Gainesville, Florida, I saw them, and I always saw them back in Georgia, and then they all of a sudden just disappeared, or maybe I imagined it.
Cause I mean, like you said with the grasshoppers though, like when we were growing up, it used to be huge grasshoppers.
Yeah,
Damn, that's crazy.
stuff is changing, you know. But,
Killing off some stuff we didn't even think about. Inventing some other stuff. Like matter of fact, now that we're on the subject of bugs, you know, Florida's infamous for love bugs. Was
oh.
that a big thing in Georgia?
No, there's no such thing as fucking love bugs.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Florida is just its own little whatever. But
It is. It is. I'll take that.
own little like world. But not going too far from the topic of our childhood. Um,
Did you play any sports and stuff growing up?
yeah, so I think like every girl, we started out with ballet. And because me and
Mm.
I were so close in age, we had to do all the same activities. So we started off in ballet. And then I think we did gymnastics for a little bit. And then Naya, like me and I were always tall and skinny, and she was always super tall. Um, so I think we did from there, we went to ballet, gymnastics, and then tennis, I think. Then basketball. I hated basketball. Naya was somewhat good at basketball. And then we found volleyball. And then when we found volleyball, that's one that stuck. But yeah, my parents they try to put us in every sport. What about
I
you?
played a little bit. I played a little bit of everything. I could definitely see you being a volleyball player though. Like
And
that's the sport I was waiting on you to say.
I am raw. That's one thing. It's like if I had the mindset I have now as a college volleyball player, man, they would not want to touch me. Not even
Yeah.
like, and that's why I'm like so excited to go back out to California. Is like people played a lot more, so like I'm ready to take like this mindset and my style of training and put it to the test of volleyball because I truly love that sport.
Yeah, that's how I am with basketball. Like I just miss hooping. Like I miss shooting. But like as I've gotten older too, like all I want to do is shoot. Like I'm not trying to like really get in like a real pickup game or nothing like that. But I still feel like I could shoot with the best. Like that was my thing. Like I played a bunch of sports growing up. Like I started playing baseball when I was 4. I played that the first. I think I played. I was probably like 8 or 9, and I was good. Like even to this day, my mom was like, "That was your best sport," but like it was boring. And like I guess knowing what I know now, I
You would think
probably would have.
baseball was boring.
Yeah, like I probably would have stuck with it, but it was just like knowing what I know now, I probably would have stuck with it. But I mean, shoot, like you said, even tennis. Like I would play tennis for fun, and I remember even in high school, they used to try and get me to play. Like their coach, he'd be like, "Hey, just try out for tennis." I'm like, "I'd rather run track."
That's how I went for
Like that's
track, and I sucked at track. I did high jump for
yeah.
like a week, and they were like, "Nah, never mind."
I did high jump for a few weeks too, and then once I started seeing how they was really jumping at meets, I said, "Oh no, y'all got it. Y'all got it."
Wait, did you clear the bar though when you tried?
Yeah,
I could
I
not. I
think
think I was so in my head. Like I like ran into the bar at one point.
nah. I think the highest I ever cleared was like 5'10",
Wow.
but I almost killed myself too. Like I remember like clearing the bar and like missing the mat, but like landing like where my butt hit the mat to where, but like my feet were off the mat. Like my feet were on the ground, and I'm like, oh no,
Oh
I'm about to die. I
damn.
said, no, y'all got it, y'all got it. And then I've actually seen people like at a track meet miss the bar and like fall completely on their back. Like I've seen some wild stuff at track meets. So
Oh hell no.
yeah, I leave that to the pros. But I
Oh,
played football for a couple years, tore my shoulder immediately. I didn't even say a couple years. It was 1 year in high school. As soon as
so
we
would you
got
let
right,
your kids play sports? Would you let any of your kids play football?
flag. Nah, we ain't hitting. Like even in my short window, like I took a couple hits, like to the head, and so it ain't worth it. It's just not worth it. Like it's yeah, I don't know. It's just not worth it. Like, and I mean, I had a lot of fun playing flag when I got to UF. Because like I said, I actually got hurt my junior year of high school, so I didn't even play sports my senior year because I was just like rehabbing. So by the time I got cleared and all that, I'm like, bro, I'm just going to school. Like, I don't care about trying to
On
like.
a side note, considering how much a lot of the NFL players, like not the stars, but the rest of the team, majority of the team, how much they get paid after taxes are taken out, is that worth like damaging like like it's so barbaric. Like you're just putting your body, the functioning of your mind is like the most important part of your body.
Bruh. And
Is
it's
it
such
worth
a
it?
short window. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you can get a truckload of money right real quick, but
They're
like
robbing
you
you
get
though of your potential that you could use with
I mean, you don't know. Like, I mean, you could be paralyzed, you could die. Like,
look at Inky Johnson.
yeah, man, it's a ruthless sport. So it's modern day gladiators. So I mean, if you really about that life, sure. But like for me at that point, like I just wanted to go to UF. So it wasn't like I was trying to go like hoop in college. I wasn't trying to go on a football scholarship. Like I was going to UF. Like I didn't care. So I was like, I can play intramurals. I know I'm not trying to go pro. And so I don't know. Like I mean, I was always like above average. Like I'm not gonna say I was like a star, but like guarantee I would be competitive or pretty good at whatever I was playing. So for me, that was enough satisfaction. Like once I got to UF, we could play intramurals, start playing flag football. Then I was like, damn, I wish I was playing real football because they're dogging people, and I'm like, I ain't even really get a chance to do what I wanted to do in high school. But playing intramurals was good enough for me. But like a good way to stay in shape. But as soon as I graduated and I stopped being active, it almost scared me to the point where it's like, yo, if I do go play again, like I need to make sure I'm back in shape because I don't want to tear nothing. Like I kept hearing about people and like their Achilles and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm getting too close to 30 to be like be injured, you know? Like shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I rather just focus on like little small versions of sports like golf. I'll shoot. I'll shoot some hoops, but like I ain't
I
gonna
still
get
think that's a
over
definitely like, especially as we get older, I think it's a good way to express that competitive energy that's good for you and also mental energy through playing competitive sports. So I can't wait to start playing volleyball again.
and that's why like definitely having kids I want them to play sports like just from a team standpoint, team and individual. Like I mean of course like tennis and the golfs and even baseball, track, like all of that's like individual sports, but like the basketballs, the footballs, you learn so much because you have to work with other people if you want to win. So I think it's valuable lessons that come with it. And I know like for me, like I said, I grew up playing sports. So I mean, I met a lot of my best friends in sports, especially at the time.
Mm.
But I mean, that's people who you make memories with. Like it's certain games, like even to this day that I can remember. It's like, yo, we were in a battle, or we came back from this, or whatever, whatever. So you create these little experiences as a kid by having fun and interacting with people who you typically wouldn't have come across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even when because I played volleyball starting in middle school, and my parents also allowed me because I played in a traveling league like AAU, and
Mm-hmm.
that cost money. It was like I think it was like 2,400 for the season, And my
Dang.
parents, of course, they're paying for me and my sister. So like they did that for us, and just doing that, like we traveled to so many different cities playing volleyball with these kids, and most of them for like these uppity white neighborhoods. So like there was just different things that we were exposed to that was definitely valuable. And then just being an athlete, like in the so when we were, it's like our first years, we were like predominant. I was like the only Black girl in the club, in the volleyball club. But then a few years later, we hear about like this all Black volleyball club, and we go in the gym. It's like nothing but all these Black girls like just killing it. Because like normally, you would play Black teams, and like they wouldn't. The skill level was different. It's like they don't have access to the resources and coaching, and volleyball's not as popular in the Black community. So the skill level would be far superior for these predominantly white teams. But this was like this one club that was just known for being the loudest in the gym. Like everybody knew when they were there. When one of their teams was playing at like a tournament or something, all the different age group come over and support. They have like all these cheers that not everybody in the volleyball community does, that they learn from this. So like it was so beautiful to see Black people bring that culture to a sport that was traditionally not Black, and to see people then be picking up on our stuff and wanting to come over and watch all the hype and hear all the energy. So that's where like we ended our volleyball. Me and my sister ended our volleyball careers. But yeah, it definitely, like those experiences that you get from playing sports as a kid, that really is how, if you want to, create a well-rounded child, get them into some sports.
Oh yeah, have them have a little mix of sports, a little mix of art, a little mix of music. Like music is really the only thing I didn't actually play. Like I always had an ear for music and been a fan, of course, but like I never actually played an instrument. That's the only thing growing up I was like, dang, if I could go back and redo something, I would have
What
learned
would
how
you
to play
play?
the drums or
Everybody wanted to
learn
play
to
the
play the
drums after
piano.
Drumline came out.
Well, nah, it wasn't even that for me. Like drums is just always raw. Like I just always like drums. And then I used to have one of my best friends was playing piano, and I was playing sports. I was so shallow and like just closed minded. I'm like, this nigga gotta go to piano practice, bro. Like I'm trying to go play. Like
He over there
so I
element.
took it. Yeah, I took it for granted, and um, that's definitely one I would go back and kind of sprinkle in. But even like you said, knowing what I know now, just from like a mental perspective on like what it took to like hoop, oh man, I would have put in way more into basketball because like I really could shoot. Like in high school, I still say like when nobody out shooting me in high school, like period. Especially at my
Were you
school.
practicing that Mamba mentality?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't on it. Like Kobe been my favorite player, but like he wasn't talking about the mentality back then.
Oh, true.
So we didn't have YouTube and all this stuff that the kids have now, and you could see the drills. And like in my part of Florida, we didn't even have AAU. So yeah, I have certain talent, but like I'm super underdeveloped. Like even two of my cousins out of Huntsville, one's a pro football player, one's a pro basketball player overseas. Same
Out of
genes,
Huntsville,
like
Alabama?
yeah.
I went to school at A&M.
So my little cousin Nyla, she's actually the assistant girls basketball coach at A&M right now.
Nyla. What?
Mm-hmm.
Small
Yeah,
world.
that's a super athletic family, but like cut from that same cloth. Like I remember, especially when we were little, like having little hoop battles with Karan. Like, so I mean, if I would have been able to train like how they were training, I definitely think I probably could have pursued basketball like a little bit more serious, at least on the college level.
Mm-hmm. Might as well
But
go get that education. And that's the thing, is like, I feel like being a college athlete is something that people should strive for, because you learn so many skills. Plus you get like this a great level of treatment as long as you advocate for yourself. So don't just allow, don't go to take athletic scholarship and then allow them to assign you some bullshit classes. That way you leave without any education. You know, major in what you want to major in, and just use the sports as a vehicle to pay for it. And then you get all this, whether it's just recognition, or you have an instant family or a group of friends. It just makes the college experience like so much better, and get to
yeah,
travel and stuff.
I mean, for me, it was going to be paid for regardless because I did what I needed to in the classroom. So again, like I just want to go to
But I'm
UF.
saying if you were an athlete at Florida and you still handle academics as you did, wouldn't have made your
I
experience like.
I wouldn't have wanted to be an athlete at Florida though. Like they wouldn't have had the same college experience that I had. I know I had a lot more fun than
Oh
they
yeah,
did.
they were
So
turning up.
yeah, like I'm not trading anything of my UF experience to be an athlete. I'm cool. Like, yeah, I'm straight. I'm straight. Like they have no life. Like, and
Well,
I
I was
mean,
an
I would have
athlete
class
at
with some athletes.
HBCU,
Like
so maybe our experience was a little bit different than an athlete at UF. Well, probably a lot different.
UF was hard. So I mean, depending on what classes you took, you had to like buckle up. Like I couldn't imagine. And I mean, of course, they got tutors, they got all the resources in the world to help them, but still, like to take a full course load and then being an athlete is a full-time job. Like that's why I still think that they need to be paid. Like you're not only generating revenue, but you're working a full-time job. Like they expect you to be there on time. So if you're commanding that
If
much of
not,
my
your ass will
time, you
be
need to pay
punished.
me.
You're running like a slave, hitting them
Bruh,
suicides.
yeah, I'm cool. Like I did enough of that in
That's
high
your life
school.
dangling. Like get in line. Get in
We
line.
used to run 4 miles every track practice. So even now, I don't even like running. Like if I can go run on a trail off road somewhere, cool. But like just running on a track,
Yeah. Oh, I had
maybe a rubber track, but like just pure asphalt and stuff like that. Nah, I'm cool. So again, childhood experiences to where it's like, I did enough of that growing up. Like I don't want to do it no more. Like even with cutting grass. I do it, but like I don't want to do it. I did enough of that. Did enough of that growing up.
I know I don't like it. Okay,
Yeah.
so thinking about when you were a kid, do you remember any of your like big dreams or like what was one of your big dreams when you were like a little kid? Like what you want to do?
I used to really want to be. I used to want to be a few different things, but I used to really want to be an animator because I used to love to draw. So that, and then I used to really be into like trains and planes. So either like being an engineer, like driving a train, or flying a plane like a pilot. So a fighter pilot at that. Like I didn't really want to be in the military, but like I just wanted to fly a jet. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna make that happen without being in the military, but that's kind of where I was, like planes, trains, and trying to draw. What about you? What I want to be when I grow up?
I know for sure zookeeper came up at some point. I was like,
I could see that. That
I
makes
love
sense.
animals.
That makes sense.
And then I think from there morphed to veterinarian.
That makes sense. That's what I would have said first.
Which my dad, both my parents are super supportive of everything, but especially my dad when it came to like the veterinarian stuff.
Yeah.
I remember as kids, like, we would always want to dissect shit. So, and like see what was on the inside. So he would always like have all the neighborhood kids gathered around and he would give us like all gloves and like a scalpel. And we would sit there and like dissect like, roadkill, like a snake or whatever it was. And it was, it was always so fun. And of course we like buried all that shit in our backyard. But yeah. So the pet cemeteries. That's another topic of childhood.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to like help people. So I think even when I wanted to like help animals, I think I still wanted to do something big, and it had something to do with like feeding people. Because I remember as a kid, whenever I have like at dinner time, I would purposely leave some food on my plate and then like shovel it away into the trash can. Because to me, logically, it made sense that if I put this food in the trash can, the kids who eat out of the trash can, like I've seen in these movies, they'll be able to have some food that's like not just like shit.
Yo.
But yeah, eventually I realized
that's like, crazy. Look at the programming. Look at the programming though. Like you said, because you saw it on TV, you assume like I need to put something away.
Somebody was eating out the garbage, so I figured that I can make it look a little bit nicer.
I was listening to somebody talk, and they were talking about how like Scrooge, in pretty much all the like old cartoons. You know, he'd be this rich, grumpy person, and it kind of paints this picture of like rich people being evil, money is evil type of thing.
Mm.
And you get it at an early age, and it's stuck with you. So your programming is on that type of mindset when that's not really the case. And it's like, damn, they really be getting us. And
That's what
like,
they say. These Disney movies that are catered for children have so much
yes,
programming in them.
yes, and it's subliminal stuff to where like it's nothing in your face with it. So like, I mean, you might catch it now that you have a more keen eye for that stuff, but like as a kid, like, I mean, I was definitely raised on TV and stuff, so I know my programming. I've had to unlearn a lot of things. I'll just put it that
Yeah.
way.
So speaking on
Um,
TV shows, what were you watching? Like
oh
cartoons,
man,
television shows? Remember the Saturday morning cartoons? Like
I
those would be the
do,
best.
I do, because I would get a bowl of cereal and then be watching cartoons on Saturdays.
Yep.
But shoot, I had a little rotation. Like I had my Cartoon Network cartoons, so like I messed with the old schools, the Flintstones, Jetsons, Tom and Jerry, um, maybe like Scooby Doo, and then of course you had like the newer school ones like Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo,
Oh yes, Dexter's Lab.
Powerpuff,
Ed and
stuff like that.
Eddie.
And then like Nickelodeon, that was really Nickelodeon probably was my favorite like channel as a kid, other than ESPN. We'll get into ESPN, but Nick just watching cartoons like they had Rocket Power and Doug and
Mm.
Rugrats and whatever else. Like they had everything. So I was that 90's kid.
Damn, I
Like I
watched
was
a lot
watching.
of TV. Like when I think about how much TV I watched a lot of
Hell
TV
yeah.
as a kid.
That's what I'm saying. Like 90's kids, we literally was raised on TV. Like most of us. And I mean, even from like the movies, like most of y'all see the blimp in the background. If you're a real one, you know what it's from. But cult classic. So I mean, watching cartoons, watching certain movies, and then like I said, ESPN. I wasn't a normal kid that'd be watching cartoons before I got up to go to school. Sports Center, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm watching sports. So, and this is probably third or fourth grade on. So I'm 8, 9, watching ESPN on my way to school, and like I was just eating and breathing sports like early. And then I would watch my cartoons like even before the 10 o'clock Sports Center came on. Like I would watch cartoons up until maybe that point, and then I would flip channels and then go to bed on sports, wake up to sports.
Such a well-rounded kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't watching sports in between my cartoons, but I was watching Animal Planet. That was my jam. Animal Planet and Food Network. Like
Okay.
and the cartoons and stuff. And
Well, matter of fact, you remember, since you're an animal person, you remember the zoo books back in the day?
the zoo books.
Zoo books. It was like a magazine. Um, I think I used to get them in the mail. Sometimes we would get them at like our school library, but it was always a colorful cover. It'd be a different animal, dope photography, but like zoo books and just be
Probably. I mean,
pictures of different animals.
yeah. And I think I was obsessed with those. I know we had some at the house too.
Yeah,
But speaking of books, remember the book fairs?
loved them, loved them.
I go in there and get my Captain Underpants books.
Yeah, like I don't even. I think I would just go in there and I'd like the different pencils and erasers, and I get like car
Oh
posters and
yeah.
sports posters and stuff like that. But I mean, book wise, I can only remember like one, maybe two series of books that I actually liked to read growing up. I was on the TV and sports and the
Yeah.
games. Like, yeah.
I think I always wanted the toys and not the toys, but like, well, yeah, the toys and all the cool things in there. But I think I was only allowed to probably buy the book. My parents were like, this is money only for a book, Keita.
So that's where it gets interesting with my childhood. Because I was actually going to ask you, like, how was school for you, like, growing up? School was easy. Like, like, I ain't even gonna lie. Especially in elementary school, like, I probably should have been, like, 2 grades ahead. No lie. I wasn't doing nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Like when it came to reading, it should be boring, bro. Like I don't know. For real. And like it's weird because I've always been balanced to where I would be quote unquote cool enough because I knew what was going on. But then I'd also be dialed in on the nerd side enough to where I'm gonna get my straight A's.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was competitive in that way too. Like that. So I kind of did have a mob mentality, but it was too spread out. Like if I would have been able to focus energy from like all them different sports I was playing into one, that's where it probably would have made a difference. But like school wise, I definitely had the mob mentality. Like that's where I was the token black kid, or I'd be the only black guy, and it would be two other black girls that were in most of like my honors classes from middle school to high school through high school. It'd be only three of us. I'm the only black dude. So for me, it was like, F it. I'm finna get straight A's. Like I'm finna ruin all y'all day. And like, because it'd be a couple kids in there, like a couple girls, and they'd be like you could just tell, like you could tell the tension that they would have toward each other. Like they'd be looking over each other's shoulder, like, oh, she got a 99, I got 100, that type of shit. So for me, I'm about to fuck up all y'all day. And so, especially when I got to high school, I told you I just wanted to go to UF. That's all that mattered. I knew the average GPA was like a 4.0. So I'm like, damn, I pretty much got to like really slide through high school perfect. Got 1B, was pissed. But weighted GPA and stuff like that, I graduated with well over 4.0. So I wasn't even tripping. So I'm like, as long as I can go to UF, I don't care. That's why I was like, with athletics, I don't care how good I am. I'm just going to UF. I just wanted to be a Gator. And it was raw football at that time. I'm like, ooh, when we get there in the fall, we winning it. And we did it. I called it. Definitely called it.
Well, my academic path was a lot different. I mean, it wasn't, but I was never as sure. Like you were very sure about your path. Like you were like, I want to go to U. If you had a goal in mind, and I was always smart, but I did have a hard time reading. And I think that kind of fucked with my academic confidence. So even though I always get good grades, I still never like would push myself hard enough, like harder than I could, or take AP classes. So I was I got good grades, but I still feel like I was a pretty average. I don't know. I probably was better a student than I think I am.
I was going to say that because I think a lot of that stuff isn't rigged for us to be successful. So, I mean, even with the standardized test, it's not rigged for
Yeah, I
people
always
of color
suck with standardized testing.
Yeah, like little stuff like that. Like, I mean, if somebody tells me like, oh, I didn't have the best grades, like I'm not tripping. That's not saying that you're not a genius right now. So
Right.
school stuff is basically like, I see it more so as like how disciplined and how programmed were you. I just cared too much. I ain't even gonna say I cared that much, but it was just like, it was easy. And then it was just like, if I can do it, why would I not? That's really what it was.
That's a good mentality to have. If I can do it, why not do it?
That's how I am now. I'm like, if I can do it, why would I not? Like, might as well.
But my thing is, I got so comfortable with like me giving not my all, like half-assing it, and people being like, "Oh my god, that's beautiful, great job." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." Why?
Yeah, if you're gonna get praised for that, then exactly.
But that's a bad
I
thing.
don't
But
blame
it's
you.
like that's the thing is that I could be like here, but I'm like I get so comfortable being here.
Again, I think it's unique because like you really dissect like how everybody grows up, like really looking at everybody's childhood individually, and then you see the way that you are because of how certain things played out in childhood, for good or for bad. And I know like even for me, like yeah, I might be super focused, but like sometimes it can be like overly focused, or I could be like overly competitive to where I would say in the latter half of my 20s, like I become way more balanced. Like I've always been pretty even keeled, but like I'm not.
Wait, were you that kid covering your answers from the, like wouldn't let anybody cheat off their test?
I'm not covering them, but I'm not letting you cheat either. Yeah.
I mean, like, let me see.
Nah. Like I've definitely had somebody be like, hey, let me get your homework. Nah, bro. I had to, if I had to put in the work for it, you gonna
Right,
have to put in the work for it. So that's just how it was. Like,
right. And that's true.
call it
That's
what you want.
principle, though. That's true in principle. Like, I can understand, like, if you had like a learning disability and you just could not
That's
get it, and that's why
different.
you put in the work. Yeah, I'm gonna slide you some answers, but
That's different. But like again, I was in literally, especially in high school, all honors classes minus nothing. Now that I think about it, other than like PE and stuff. But like I just had honors classes. So like I definitely letting the white kids cheat off me. No, hell no. Not today. Not ever. Like nah. And I remember even going to like gifted classes back in like elementary school. I used to be like, Mom, I hate this. Like this is trash. Cause I literally would be the only black person in there. I'm
mm,
like, I ain't doing nothing what I would deem as fun. I don't even have my recess no more. I'm not doing this. So I started really calling my shots kind of when I got to middle school because she was like, all right, you don't have to go. And then like all I had to do was just do the honors classes. And again, like they weren't even like on me to like get straight A's. Like that was just me. Like
right.
I just wanted to do it just because. But I don't know.
You're like everybody's dream child who wants the challenge of academics.
And again, like again, it's being balanced because I told you I was mischievous too. Like I had the light and dark sides for sure. It was definitely a yin and yang. So just as good in like how I could put on the good academic front and like the buttoned up child. Like I still had crazy ass times with my friends where it's like, bro, I'm just happy we never got arrested. We never go to jail, nothing crazy like that. Cause we would really be out here on some wild stuff sometimes. So
And that just
nothing,
that
not
shows
anything
you.
hurting people, but like just mischievous. Like wow, like just being just bad. But
I think a part of it is it's like being. I think a part of being bad can sometimes come from that you have that higher level of intellect where it's just like, who cares about these things? Like these rules that are set in place, like these rules are stupid, you know?
that's always been me low key. It's just like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do when I want to do it. And that's how I am now. Like even with being an entrepreneur, like that's part of the reason why is because I want to dictate my time and what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, where I'm doing it. All of that, like all that stuff matters to me. So it mattered to me even as a kid. Like, and I've heard stories from my mom for sure. But she was like, "Yeah, you used to tell me, especially in your elementary years, how much you hated school every day." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Every day." She was like, "But you would still go in, do the work,
I hate
get
school.
everything done." But she was like, "I hate it." And so I'm like, because I thought it was stupid then. Like we're not learning anything that's really applicable to anything. Like it
Mm.
almost makes me mad, like knowing the type of drive and ambition I've had since a kid, especially if it was something I set my mind to. If I was developed in a way like I would want to develop a child, like yo, highlight these talents and like really focus on this for school or whatever, yo, trajectory would have been completely different.
Could have been
Because
a
I know when I,
billionaire by now.
oh my God,
Billionaire already.
years ago. Um, because I know when I got to college, like I've always known I wanted to have my own business since I was probably 11, 12. But at least through high school, like it was so academically focused, but like I did so much other stuff. Like I was in everything extracurricular because I knew again the UF factor. I knew they wanted somebody well-rounded plus the academic side. So again, I played some sports. I was in clubs. Um, I'm not finna get into all my accolades. High school was crazy. High school was perfect on paper, damn near. From a resume standpoint. So I get to college and it's like I really don't know what I want to do. And like I think in high school is when I really kind of detached from being my childhood self. Like I'm not doing the artsy stuff no more. Like it's solely school and sports. And like of course, girls are becoming more prevalent. So like that takes away a whole nother channel of energy. Like
Mm-hmm.
just your mind is just preoccupied. And then you got video games with the homies. That's when online gaming was starting. Like, so I'm not really focused on like the next chapter. Like I crossed the bridge. I got the grades I needed to go to UF, but like, what am I gonna do when I get there? I get there, I don't know how to study because I ain't never studied in school. So, and then UF is 20 times harder than anything I would have ever imagined. So I'm like, yo, this shit. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm cut for this. Like my first year, I'm like, yo, this is wild. And I'm taking pre-farm stuff. So like all these different sciences and like at least with the maths and stuff, I thought I was cool because I came in at like the pre-calc level. So I'm like, all right, I'll knock out pre-calc and calc one. Bruh, calc get to calc one, I'm like, I'm about to drop this shit. Like, I'm out of here. So
See, I feel as a grad
it's
student at
different.
UF, I feel like it's definitely harder as an undergrad than it is a grad student. Because
Oh
grad school, they
my
want you to
God.
succeed. Undergrad, they like,
Yo, UF is
like your
straight
step
weed
hard.
out game. Them first 2 years, depending on your major, good luck. Good luck, dog.
Uh,
That's when I became more balanced too. Cause immediately, like not my first semester, but maybe the second, I made my first C. And I'm like, shit, for me to even get a C in that class, I'm cool with it. So C's get degrees. And I kind of changed my whole outlook. I'm like, if I can graduate with a 3.0, I'm cool. So
mm-hmm.
I accomplished that goal, I'm straight. But like, I wasn't trying to get the straight A's no more. Like, once they got to
Because
college,
you knew that
nah,
didn't
let me just knock
matter.
this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I don't even really want to go to class half the time. And so now that I can dictate when I go, and some stuff was starting to be online, because I had a class, it had to have at least 3,500, 3,500, 4,500, something like that. So the classroom would only hold 300. You SOL if you ain't in that 300. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I just watched it online. But class was like that at UF. Like it would be, depending on what it was, you in for a battle. Like I remember like the organic chemistries for like all the science majors, they be dreading it. And then when I switched my sophomore year to more of a business major, we had to take like financial accounting and business finance and stuff like that. And that financial accounting, like, oh my God, it's I remember getting like, you get like a 47 on the test and you end up with like a C plus. How I get a 47 get a C plus, bro? How's the curve that low? Like
uh,
nuts. Like it'd
that's
be
how
insanity.
the organic chem was at Georgia State. And I remember somebody they were on their second, no, they were on their sixth time. I took organic Orgo 1 twice. Because the first time I got a C, second time I got an A. But somebody had taken the class 6 times. I'm just like, I definitely honor your persistence and your drive, not to give up. But damn, how you? It's the same fucking material every year. Why do you need?
6 times, bro. Yo, I
Time?
definitely I retook 2 classes. I retook Chem 1 and I retook Calc 1. I got into Chem
Yeah,
2.
those chem classes. Ugh.
Yeah, everything we did in high school, I got through in the first week at UF. Everything in high school was done in the first week. So I'm like a fish out of water. I'm like, bro, this ain't good. This ain't good, dog. And you talking about cheating? Like, was I helping people cheat? I definitely, the tables turned. I was never one to cheat in high school or help cheat. But when I got to college, oh, let me see that. Let me
Hell
see
yeah,
that.
the whole system worked out.
Bruh, I took a Greek mythology class like an idiot. There ain't nobody tell me. Like, I'm just making my schedule as a freshman. Like, I don't know what electives is easy, which one's not. Get this Greek mythology class. Thank God my roommate at the time was in there. This Jewish Cuban kid from Miami
Mm-hmm.
or South Florida. Knew everything Greek mythology like the back of his hand. ain't studied for nothing. So like after the first two tests, me and one of my homies, who I ended up living with, he was in there my freshman year as well. So I think we got like a 90 on the first one, 80 on the second. I said, oh no, we starting out at an 85 already. And then my roommate had 200s. So my dog was like, hey, we sit next to your roommate the rest of the semester. I'm on one side, you on the other. Bet. We copied off him every test the rest of the semester because like it was all quizzes. It was like 12 quizzes makes up your grade.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them 10, at least 9 of them was hundreds. So shout out to my old roommate Andrew for getting me through that class, because I definitely would have bombed it because I was not about to study for none of that. Didn't care about it because after I got in, I'm like, bro, this is so stupid. This is so stupid, bro. I don't care about none of this. And like that's why my mentality is how it is about college, because it's like unless you know what you want to do,
Right.
I mean, like you can utilize them resources in so many other ways that could benefit you immediately, as opposed to putting it off and then you end up in or with a degree that you don't use, like myself, and you never even work in that field, like myself. So
With how much
yeah, man, it's
tuition paid.
yeah, that shit was a scam for me. But like again, I wouldn't trade any of it though. Like I met some of the best people of my life there.
You wouldn't know me. There would be no Parallel Paths podcast.
Exactly. And I didn't even meet you in college, but I met you through the people I met in college. So like, I mean, just the dynamic of that, the networking piece of it, and like how much fun we had. Forget the school aspect of it in the books, like just the community aspect. Because like even at UF, it's a PWI, but when I was there, it was dwindling, but we still had a very solid Black community. Like our Black community, I want to say was 5,500. So that's bigger than most HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything we did from an event standpoint would be together. So like everybody knew each other. Only people that was beefing was the Greeks. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, like other than that, it was a solid ass experience. And then being in Florida, it's a melting pot. So that's when I got exposed to the Hispanic cultures, different Asian cultures, all of that there. Had a good time, had a great time. So
yeah,
definitely like the best 4-year window thus far. But I know we got some better 4-year windows.
And that's the fun
gonna be
part
hard to
about
top,
it.
though.
Like all the fun that we've had from at this moment back, like it's only going to get better from here. You know, when we went through those periods of celebration and partying, you know, the periods that are to come are going to be so much greater. And I think that's a great way to wrap up this episode of the Parallel Paths podcast. We want to hear about your childhood stories. You know, what were your favorite movies or TV shows? What did you grow up on? What made your childhood special? What were your dreams when you were a kid? We would love to hear all that from you guys.
Word.
All right. Until next time, please like, share, and subscribe. Blair, do you have anything for the people?
As always, stay positive. Have a good, peaceful week. Keep your head up. Don't let these external distractions be just that, a distraction. Tune in. Again, have a good one. Peace.
Power to the people.
Definitely.